Hello, it's now 3 p.m. Hanoi time. Thank you for joining us in this edition of VTV News. I am Dai Chang with the latest updates for the hour. State President Cheng Ten-sang meets with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Rising exchange rates by the State Bank to impact local importers. And later on, let's visit a Taste of Europe, the 9th European Food Festival in Hanoi. Now, top story for this bulletin, as part of State President Cheng Ten-sang's visit to Russia to celebrate the 70th anniversary of Russia's victory in the Great Patriotic War, he also met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow. President Sang thanked the Russian president for the invitation to this historic event. He stressed that the victory helped bring peace to the whole world. The two sides discussed issues of bilateral cooperation and agreed to further strengthen measures to promote the comprehensive strategic partnership between Vietnam and Russia in the coming time. President Cheng Ten-sang also thanked the Russian government for creating favorable conditions for the Vietnamese community in Russia and in those aspects of business, academia, and social integration. Following his attendance at the 70th anniversary celebrations of Russia's victory in the Great Patriotic War, State President Cheng Ten-sang will visit the Czech Republic. Czechoslovakia, which has now split into Slovakia and the Czech Republic, was one of the very first nations to establish diplomatic relations with Vietnam. In our following report, let's get a better insight into the 65-year history of relations between Vietnam and the Czech Republic.
In 1950, the then Czechoslovakia was among the first 10 countries to establish diplomatic ties with the then Democratic Republic of Vietnam. In 2013, the Czech Republic was the first European nation to recognize their overseas Vietnamese population as an ethnic minority. This milestone decision placed the Vietnamese community in the Czech Republic on an equal footing with local Czech citizens.
The Czech Republic is a country that has built up particularly strong ties with Vietnam. Although it has changed a lot in terms of its political institutions, the nation still places a high priority on its relationship with Vietnam.
The Czech Republic has maintained its regular official development assistance or ODA grant to Vietnam, with a total amount since 1995 reaching roughly $18 million. The two-way trade turnover annually is estimated at $300 million, with investors from both countries actively seeking further business opportunities.
Our relationship is very good, but we haven't yet exploited it to its full potential. Currently, we are trying to boost economic ties with Vietnam and are hoping to benefit from the growing Vietnamese community in Czech Republic. Also, during State President Cheng Ten-sang's working visit to the Czech Republic, several enterprise forums will be held to facilitate trade between the two nations.
Education is also an important area of cooperation between the two nations, with many Vietnamese students and researchers receiving scholarships to study in the Czech Republic each year. Cultural exchanges are held on a regular basis to promote understanding between the two countries.
Back in the 1950s, we started our cultural cooperation programs. The foundation of our cultural ties probably goes back to the very first Vietnamese students in the then Czechoslovakia. Since then, cultural exchange activities between the two nations have been going very well.
At present, around 60,000 Vietnamese people are residing in the Czech Republic, making notable contributions to the development of Czech society. Achievements over the past 65 years have laid the foundations for a future of even closer friendship and cooperation between Vietnam and the Czech Republic.
Vietnam is expecting a new wave of foreign direct investment, or FDI, from the Republic of Korea in the wake of the recently signed bilateral free trade agreement, or FTA. Many giants from Korea, such as Lotte, Samsung, Kumho and Taekwang, plan to expand their operations here, and this has in turn attracted hundreds of foreign investors to the country. Unlike earlier projects focusing on garments, textiles, and footwear, nowadays multinational Korean groups are coming to Vietnam to invest in high technology, electronics, real estate, manufacturing, and trade. Accounting for just 5% of Korea projects in the country, they represent 70% of the total investment capital. According to the Korean International Trade Association, the majority of Korean companies plan to expand business in emerging foreign markets in 2015, with Vietnam topping the list as the most favored destination. The Ministry of Industry and Trade recently agreed to establish a response team to help enterprises overcome difficulties in exporting their products to the world market. This response team will hold regular dialogues with associations and enterprises, aiming to understand the needs of businesses in order to work out feasible solutions to the problems. According to businesses, the establishment of the response team will help improve the competitiveness of Vietnamese agro-produce. In the past years, Vietnamese export and import enterprises have struggled with legal and administrative procedures which arose due to inadequate cooperation among state agencies. The State Bank of Vietnam, or SBV, has recently raised the exchange rates by 1%. This marks the second adjustment of the SBV since the beginning of this year. Although this may pose risks to import enterprises in Vietnam, it may be also the solution to the nation's persistent trade deficit problem.
This enterprise has to import 90% of its packaging material at a cost of $2 million per month. The first adjustment resulted in the company spending nearly $25,000 more on imported material costs. This second adjustment will continue to hurt the company's importing activity.
Since the beginning of this year, the US dollar rose 300 Vietnam dongs in value. So in order to import materials, we need to spend $25,000 more to pay for the same amount of US dollars.
And that's not the only enterprise to be affected by the rising exchange rate. This company imports machinery and equipment to serve domestic demand. At the time of signing contracts, the exchange rate was low. However, the rate rose at the time of payment, costing the enterprise to lose nearly $200,000 in profit.
When we signed a contract with our customers, we fixed the exchange rate with them. However, as the exchange rate rose from 1 to 2%, we need to spend more to pay for our supplies. We will lose $200,000 each year because of rising exchange rates.
The State Bank of Vietnam aims to keep the exchange rate adjustment within the 2% band. According to experts, the reason rising exchange rate will help protect domestic production, especially under increased pressure from foreign goods. This can have fixed the chronic trade deficit in Vietnam.
The adjustment of State Bank of Vietnam on May the 7th recently and January the 1st earlier will have to support local exporters. It will affect local importers, but our country is an import-led economy, so the adjustment can be a way to balance our trade.
According to specialists, the exchange rate adjustment policy is fully consistent with the country's industrialization strategy. In the future, local importers may have to include exchange rate fluctuation risk in their production plans.
Now, with more and more foreign products entering Vietnam following the country's entrance into the World Trade Organization, as well as its signing of several bilateral and multilateral trade agreements, domestic businesses are stepping up efforts to improve their competitive ability. As part of these efforts, local firms are conducting customer behavior studies to gauge the average consumer's attitude towards domestic versus international products.
When it comes to powdered milk for her grandchildren, Big always opts for imported products. Although she can't read the nutritional information written on their foreign language labels, she still chooses them over domestic ones. I have bought this milk brand for my grandchildren for a long time. It suits their tastes and needs. Although it's quite expensive, I still want it. According to experts, many customers choose imported products over domestic ones. Market research shows that a lack of information regarding domestic product is a key factor affecting customer behavior toward local brands.
The first reason is that the consumers don't have enough information about Vietnamese products in terms of their production site and production process. Secondly, they don't have enough trust in the product. Therefore, when they want to choose a product, they just opt for the same products that many other people use.
Producer must maintain high quality and stable products which meet customers' expectations. Also, label design must be attractive to customers.
Together with the Vietnamese Use Vietnamese Goods campaign, market research into consumer attitudes toward domestic brands will help local products compete with foreign ones. Thanks to these studies, domestic businesses can better establish their foothold in the domestic market, increasingly defined by the process of global integration. This will also create a firm foundation for domestic products to enter foreign markets.
The Asian Development Bank, or ADB, and the State Bank of Vietnam have signed 2 loan contracts worth $160 million for infrastructure development in Vietnam. Now, a loan of $147 million will support the Nội Bài-Lào Cai Highway project, as well as poverty reduction and sustainable development initiatives for people in the northern provinces of Lào Cai, Yên Bái, and Phú Thọ. The second project was $12.58 million from the ADB's Asian Development Fund, will develop infrastructure for the national highway system in Ho Chi Minh City. It includes planning and research, technical drawings, and value estimates for the highways that connect Ho Chi Minh City with its surrounding localities. Coming up next on VTV News Live, Japanese Coast Guard vessel visits Da Nang Central City. And later on, let's visit Taste of Europe, the 9th European Food Festival in Hanoi. Stay tuned.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
Welcome back to VTV News. Now, Japanese Coast Guard ship, the JCGS Yashima, captained by Coast Guard Superintendent Akihiro Hirano, will dock at the central city of Da Nang from today, May the 10th to the 14th. The vessel dropped anchor at Tiên Sa port this morning. During the 5-day visit, the ship and its crew members will exchange experience with Vietnam Coast Guard, take part in a friendly sporting competition, as well as seminars on search and rescue operations at sea. The two sides will take part in a marine search and rescue drill on the afternoon of May the 14th before the ship departs Tiên Sa port. The Japanese Coast Guard and their Vietnamese counterparts have strengthened cooperation in recent years, and this visit will nourish this budding relationship. The visit is also a good opportunity to enhance understanding and mutual trust between the two maritime law enforcement agencies. Beginning on May the 9th, the Asia Injury Prevention or AIP Foundation launched a 3-day program called Recreating Genitals for Poor Children at Da Nang Hospital for Women and Children. As a consultation on the first day, experts from the foundation chose 10 children between the ages of 23 months and 13 years who are suffering from genital defects. Last year, Dr. Roberto Di Castro, who is involved in this program, successfully recreated genitals for Thiện whose leg and genitals were destroyed by animals after being abandoned when he was born. All surgery expenses are funded by the AIP Foundation and Vietnam Health Insurance. This is the third year that AIP Foundation has run this program in Da Nang City. Now, Hue Monuments Conservation Center held a workshop called Protecting and Developing Literature Values in Hue Royal Architecture yesterday. Despite destruction during the war and as a result of natural disasters, many works of literature here remain intact. To date, there are 2,967 works of literature recorded on wood, 146 others on bronze, and 78 on ceramic. The workshop aimed to assess the value of these works and provide solutions to protect them. During the workshop, researchers and cultural managers discussed three main topics, namely the overview of the literature system, evaluation of the literature system, and protecting and developing the literature system in Hue Royal Architecture. The European Chamber of Commerce in Vietnam held its biggest social event of the year yesterday, the 9th European Food Festival. This event was part of this year's Europe Day celebrations to mark 25 years of diplomatic relations between the European Union and Vietnam. The festival brought together Vietnamese and international families through a shared love for authentic European food, drinks, and live music. Bang Nguyen reports.
The European Food Festival in Hanoi has become a much-anticipated yearly event. Organized by Eurocham to celebrate Europe Day, each year this feast offers Vietnamese people a smorgasbord of culinary experience and is an interesting day out for family members and friends. And this year, however, the festival holds an even bigger meaning.
Eurocham has already organized this event for the past 10 years, and we really see it as an event to bring European culture to Vietnam. So this year marks a special year for the relationships between EU and Vietnam. There are a lot of celebrations together with the European delegation and other cultural institutions to celebrate the good relations between the EU and Vietnam.
At the 30 or so booths showcasing the best food from top restaurants, 5-star hotels, and more than 20 European food and beverage companies, participants enjoyed a diverse mix of classic European dishes such as paella, spaghetti, bolognese, and an assortment of baguettes and pizzas. Several Spanish dishes were also on offer for visitors to the event.
Today we brought some Spanish dishes, some calamari, some croquettes, some beef skewers, and some little mini sweet toasts. Our dishes are very well for sharing, and Vietnamese like to share because we have many pieces, so you can put it in the middle of the table and have a family event and enjoy everything.
I love this bustling atmosphere. It's even better than last year's festival. This year there's so much delicious and varied food. And I love German sausage and beer.
This year, European Food Festival attracted about 1,000 people, and live performances from European musicians lent to the event's buoyant festive atmosphere.
Also, to celebrate the Europe Days Festival, a gala concert was held on Friday night at the Hanoi Opera House, where a German trumpet band accompanied a Vietnamese bamboo ensemble. In the following report, let's see how these musicians fused elements from such diverse regions.
This special recital was the first time that Canon in D, a popular composition by a German composer, was performed with a combination of brass and traditional Vietnamese instruments.
In Germany, we also have traditional instruments similar to yours. However, ours are quite small, while yours are larger and make very interesting sounds. And together with classical instruments, they created a great harmonization.
This gala concert aims at bringing European music closer to Vietnamese audiences. Also, the artists from the two regions can meet and work together. This joint performance has shown audiences a unique musical experience. It also mirrors a harmonious cooperation between Vietnam and Europe.
On the first gala night in Hanoi, besides classical works by renowned European composers, signature music from Vietnam's Central Highlands was also performed. Additionally, German artists gave the audience a special treat in the form of traditional German Alphorns.
This is the German Alphorn. It was first created by a group of people living on the Alps mountain range. People in the past used it to communicate like the way we use cell phones, so it has to be very big.
The gala night was very meaningful to me. I got to enjoy traditional Vietnamese music as well as classical music from Europe. This combination of cultures made me feel more connected to my homeland.
After 2 nights in Hanoi, the German band will travel south to perform in Ho Chi Minh City on Sunday night. The Arab Gala concert is part of the Arab Days in Vietnam to celebrate the 25th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Vietnam and the EU.
As a side event of Haiphong's 63rd anniversary of liberation, the Flamboyant Flower Festival kicked off at the city's central square on Saturday night. The event featured more than 1,600 local artists. Various art performances depicted the city's history and beauty, as well as the traditional customs and lifestyle of the local people. Following the opening ceremony, a series of activities will take place over the following days, including street performances, trade and tourism fairs, and art exhibitions. This is the fourth time that Haiphong has organized this festival to honor the city's most distinctive and popular flower, commonly known as the flamboyant. And now it's time for checking out the list of top highlighted events in the past week.
The 11th meeting of the party's Central Committee opened on Monday in Hanoi, discussing a host of important issues, including the personnel plan. Issues tabled for discussion covered the personnel work of the 12th Party Central Committee, the numbers and allocation of delegates to the 12th Congress, the organizational model of local administrations, the Long Thanh Airport construction project, and reports on matters that were resolved after the 10th plenum. In his speech, General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trọng underscored the need to revamp draft documents for submission to the 12th Congress, with a major focus on the personnel plan in line with party statute. He cited the importance of his task, explaining it could determine the future of the party and the nation.
At the invitation of Russian President Vladimir Putin, Vietnamese State President Trung Tân Sang is leading a high-ranking delegation to attend celebrations marking the 70th anniversary of Russia's victory in the Great Patriotic War. The ceremony is held in Moscow from May 7th to May 10th. Before the celebration, President Sang met up with President of the Communist Party of the Russian Federation, or CPRF, Gennady Zyuganov. President Zyuganov expressed his appreciation for President Sang's visit to Russia and his beliefs that under the leadership of the Communist Party of Vietnam, Vietnam will continue reaping successes towards prosperity. In return, President Sang recalled invaluable support from the Russian communists and people to Vietnam during the struggle for national independence and pressed for intensified political collaboration through regular visits. After Russia, State President Trung Tân Sang will also pay official state visits to the Czech Republic and the Republic of Azerbaijan.
The 48th Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, or CMEO, Council Conference opened in Pattaya, Thailand this Thursday. Vietnamese Minister of Education and Training Phạm Vũ Luân, who was the president of the CMEO Council from 2013 to 2015, led the Vietnamese delegation at the event. During the first plenary session, Thai Minister of Education Narong Pitpatanasai was selected to be the new CMEO president. This year's conference, which marks the 50th anniversary of the founding of CMEO, demonstrates the commitment of regional leaders to accelerate the formation of an ASEAN community in 2015.
The bilateral free trade agreement between Vietnam and the Republic of Korea was officially signed this Tuesday in Hanoi by Vietnamese Minister of Industry and Trade Vũ Huy Hoàng and Korean Minister of Trade, Industry and Energy Jun Sang-jik. The signing was witnessed by Vietnamese Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng. The trade pact was completed after 2 years of negotiation. Under this agreement, Korea will liberalize over 95% of its import tariff, mainly in key Vietnamese export goods like seafood, tropical fruit, textiles and garments, and mechanical products. In return, Vietnam will cut more than 89% of tariff lines on Korean imports, mainly for commodities such as material for textiles and garments, plastics, electronic components, automobile parts, iron and steel products.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade and the Ministry of Finance this week announced the latest adjustment to petrol prices. The prices of RON 92 and E5 have increased by 1,950 Vietnamese dong per liter. As such, after the price adjustment, RON 92 is now priced at 19,230 Vietnamese dong per liter and E5 at 18,900 Vietnamese dong per liter. Diesel and mazout oil remain unchanged thanks to the Petrol Price Stabilization Fund. The increase in the retail price has been attributed to the sharp rise in global oil prices over the past weeks.
This Thursday, May 7th, marked the 61st anniversary of the Dien Bien Phu victory, which signaled the end of 80 years of French colonization. The courageous soldiers of the Vietnamese army fought and won the 56-day battle from March 13 to May 7, 1954 against the French. The events caught the attention of the international community and signified a dramatic victory in Vietnam's struggle for colonial liberation, setting a shining example for revolution in other Asian and African countries. The victory at the Battle of Dien Bien Phu influenced the signing of the Geneva Accords. The accords officially ended the war and temporarily divided Vietnam at the 17th parallel. From there, it took another 21 years for the country to fight for its reunification and complete independence.
And our bulletin now continues with the updated weather forecast. And that's all we have for now. Simply visit our websites at vtv4.vn or our YouTube channel at VTV4Go for more news and updates. Thank you very much for tuning in and goodbye for now from Hanoi.